great resource for community.
Things happen that are out of your control.
I didn't know how important it was, but now I see.
You don't think it's going to happen in your town, but by golly, it did in our town.
It's so valuable to have that knowledge to be able to do CPR on someone.
To know that you actually, had a part in saving somebody's life, it's priceless.
You never know when you're going to need it.
The Red Cross is always available no matter what. There are people who are available any hour of the day or night.
They're important to everyone in every aspect.
The Mid-Michigan chapter serves communities across a 5-county region, driven entirely by your donations of time, money, and blood. The Mid-Michigan chapter provides critical services to those communities.
And the Red Cross does so many other things than just CPR and first aid. As a fireman, we see the Red Cross show up when people don't have a place to go.
We help with national and local disasters.
When you see the people, you realize that this has a huge human element to it. And these are people's homes and people's lives. And the people that are there to help really want to help.
97% of the workforce for the Mid-Michigan chapter is made up of volunteers.
These great volunteers that we have, I'm so pleased, I'm so honored to be associated with here at the Red Cross. And when people think of the Red Cross, they think of the blood first.
I had a procedure done probably around Thanksgiving. Around Christmas, I started bleeding heavily from the procedure. When I talked to my daughter and my sisters, they said, "Oh, just come and have Christmas Eve with us." When I got there, I started bleeding really bad.
She didn't tell anyone that she was bleeding to death until after Christmas, because she didn't want to ruin anyone's Christmas.
I ended up having to leave, and I came home. My husband finally just said, "You're going. We can't do this any longer." So I had told him, I said, "Well, you'll probably just want to call the ambulance because I don't think we would make it."
It was very grave because if you have to stop the bleeding, and the only way you could do that was with surgery.
I had paid bills and got insurance policies out, and I had told my husband and my daughter what I wanted done with my body if I didn't make it.
I woke up the day after Christmas and she was in the hospital, and the doctors had told us that she had become completely anemic.
She was bleeding quite heavily, and she had to be transfused several units before we could do the procedure, and crucial thing was the blood supply.
The Red Cross supplies 80% of the blood needs for the hospitals in this area. Over the last year, we received over 150,000 pints of blood in the Mid-Michigan area.
If there wasn't any blood to give and we didn't do the surgery, she would have died that day.
There's no substitute for the basic human blood. I mean, what we have is the gift of life.
If he wasn't there and all these other people weren't around to donate blood, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Just think about the positive of it. That's what I keep doing. Smile and be glad you can do it.
I don't know how you ever wake up one day and don't have a mom. And I don't know how you can put into words what it would be like to not know if your mom would be there tomorrow, and just how important it is that people take the time for other people, that you wake up one day and think of somebody else over yourself.
It does make a difference. It makes a big difference. This Christmas I'm really going to celebrate because I am here.
If the Red Cross wouldn't be there, then my mom wouldn't be here. Thank you.
Through the Service to Armed Forces program, military families can keep in contact during family emergencies and other important family events.
I think it's important to serve the country.
Very proud that Ray was able to serve and that our kids have served.
Absenteeism is one of the biggest problems.
When our son went over to Desert Storm and my husband had just retired, it was very different. It was actually scarier.
Being a parent of a service person is very difficult and requires a lot of acceptance on faith that they'll return safely.
Because sometimes you didn't hear anything for a while, and then you get 4 letters.
When you're in a war zone, your days are pretty well occupied. But for your family, they may have a work day, but the rest of the day is worrying.
My diagnosis was threatening miscarriage. I didn't have a miscarriage, but I was borderline. So they put me on bed rest.
A couple of weeks after my deployment, she started having complications of the pregnancy.
His mom gave me the advice, to call the Red Cross. Let's see what they can do. My caseworker was Pat. From that very first phone call, 48 hours later, the Red Cross had him at my hospital bedside. For a moment, I forgot about all the bad things that were going on with the baby. I was just happy that my husband was there to hold me.
The Red Cross is the only agency that the Uniformed Services Department of Defense will take verification from.
I think the fact that, he was there allowed me to hang on to the baby, in my uterus for a few days longer. And every day that I could keep him inside me was a better chance that, he would be okay.
He was about 11 3/4 inches long. He weighed a whopping 1 pound, 1 ounce.
The Red Cross can reach out across the miles, regardless of where the destination is, to make sure you get the information you need.
It takes about 24 hours from the time we notified until the soldier's notified and on his way back home.
Grateful to the Red Cross that they provide this service willingly and speedily and help folks who are in need.
With CPR and the defibrillator, your chances of saving a life are very high if started right away. If you don't do CPR until the ambulance arrives, your chances of surviving aren't very high.
There's countless lives that have been saved with the CPR and first aid programs that we offer.
First initial assessment of the scene, recognition that there is an emergency. Again, the most critical time in someone's life.
He's just very loving. He's there for everyone.
To me, he seemed like a father figure around the players, and they would come to him, they'd talk to him. About 40 seconds left to go in the first half.
I saw him crouching down near a bench, and he rolled onto his back.
Danielle actually calls to me and says that one of the coaches has collapsed on our sideline.
Wheezing, not moving, just a glassy look over his face.
First thing I did right away was got the rescue mask out, tried to give him a couple breaths. Wasn't able to really obtain a pulse.
And I noticed somebody running across the field towards us and waving us over.
We got in the ambulance and we started to drive around the track. And as we turned the corner on the track, I looked at my partner and said, "Are they doing CPR?" And he said, "Yes." And the foot got a little heavier on the gas pedal, and he called for help for our other ambulance. He was unresponsive. My partner grabbed a bag valve mask and started to breathe for him. I was hooking him up to our monitor to see if he had a heart rhythm, and then I realized he did not have a pulse. At that point, I asked everybody to stand clear, charged our monitor up, and delivered one shot.
Having that CPR training through the Red Cross and the training that they do have saved my life.
All the kids came up to him, everyone gave him a hug, and together they were just saying it's a great day to be a Big Red.
There's no feeling like running onto the football field when the band is playing and the bleachers are full. I'm looking very forward to next season.
Because of the way everything worked with having us on scene and having the athletic trainers trained in CPR is the reason that he's here with us today.
Coach? How you doing? You were there that night too?
Yes, sir.
Are you the guy that broke my ribs?
No.
It was a miracle. I'm just thank the Lord every day for it, for being there, the Red Cross for their, help in training these people to be lifesavers.